part 2 of our auto extrication series, we're going to be taking a look at hydraulic extrication tools. Basic stabilization has been completed, and I'm wearing my full PPE. The tools that we're going to be working with today are a Homatro auto extrication tool set, powered by a gas-powered power plant that pumps hydraulic fluid through 50-foot hydraulic lines to the extrication tools. Here you see spreaders and what are called cutters or shears. When setting these up, it's important to place your power plant approximately 20 feet away from the vehicle, towards the front or towards the back, which allows us to get the exhaust and the noise further away while still reaching all sides of the vehicle. In our last video, we performed a rear window tent, which provided access for the firefighter to get in to start treating the patient. Generally, our next steps for getting more access to the patient to be able to treat them and remove them follows the order top, doors, and then dash. Removing the top, removing doors as needed, and if we still need more space, pushing the dash out of the way. Before we start cutting, we're going to take the glass and perform what we call peel and peek, which is using a trim removal tool to remove the plastic trim so we can locate any seatbelt pretensioners or airbag cartridges or any other obstructions that we want to avoid cutting through. Now that we've taken a look at the inside of our posts and we've determined that there's nothing that we need to worry about cutting through, we're going to prepare to cut. There's the option of cutting low or high. There's good reasons for both. Sometimes it's preferable to cut low to create the most access and space for getting in and treating the patient, so you don't have the post sticking up and serving as obstructions. Other times you may want to cut high because in removing the roof and having to carry it over and across the patient, these posts hanging down could be a sharp object that has to pass near them. So depending on what direction you need to lift and carry the roof away, you may choose to cut high. An important safety consideration anytime you're operating a hydraulic tool is to keep your body and your hands out of the space between the tool and the vehicle. The tool, as it cuts or spreads metal, will tend to twist and rotate. And so you want to make sure you keep your body out of any pinch points. Because as the tool rotates, I allow myself to get caught between it and the vehicle. I can get seriously injured. And trying to fight it's no use because it's strong enough to cut metal, it'll easily push me around. So it's key pay attention to what I'm doing and make sure that as it twists, I am staying in a safe position. Windshield glass is different than the tempered glass in other parts of the car. It's two sheets of annealed glass with a layer of plastic glued in between them. This keeps the windshield intact even when shattered. To remove it, Two of the common tools we use are a glass saw or a cordless glass cutter. We're going to compare the two. I'm going to start with the glass saw. I've donned a mask to protect myself from dust created by sawing the glass. First, I need to make a starting point. Then, I extend my saw and begin to cut. A little slow going. Now I'm going to switch to our battery powered glass cutter. When removing the windshield, typically I prefer to cut along the bottom, up the sides, so we can make access to cut these A-posts and fold the windshield up over the top of the car for removal. Sometimes you may choose to cut along the top and fold the windshield down on the hood if, much like cutting low versus cutting high, taking that windshield and everything off is going to create more of a hazard to the patient if it's folded up and potentially dropping glass on the patient. Generally, I don't like to have the windshield on the hood because sometimes that's a workspace for firefighters, getting up on the hood, and it's less than ideal to have them standing or kneeling on the broken glass. The spreaders are another useful tool, particularly for removing doors. Of course, on this vehicle, the doors have already been removed in what we call a maxi door, where both the doors and the B-post have been taken out, creating the maximum door opening. Spreaders are great for getting into a gap and creating space, and we can work the tip of the spreaders in between doors and the B-post to pop the nadir pin and the latch pin loose, and also on the hinge side we can insert the spreaders and break the hinges loose. Hinges can also be cut. Sometimes when spreading or when cutting, the tools will seem to bog down and stop. These are hydraulic tools and they have to build up pressure. Keep allowing it to build, and often it'll start moving or cutting again. As you get into a gap, you often have to open and then close to get the tips in further. to watch what you're doing and make sure you're not just tearing sheet metal. Thank you for once again joining me to go over some auto extrication, looking at hydraulic tools, the spreaders and the cutters, some of the considerations when removing a roof and taking windshield glass. Thanks for watching.